Good evening. We are here live with the Cosmos Astrum again. Let me switch this over to comments so we can actually see. Oh, hey, Fallon, how
Oh,
are you?
fancy.
Uh, that is Fallon's from Nova Scotia, just to let you know.
Okay.
Um, so I'm here with Elaine.
Also known as Weenie Leanton, my
Yeah,
alias.
I know her as Elaine.
I
It's
know.
just
Lots of people know me as
just
Elaine.
Elaine. That's what's
It's
on the back.
confusing.
That's
It's
what's on.
confusing.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
two
but that's
people.
what's on the bathroom walls.
I Which bathroom wall?
No.
It's on several.
Yeah.
Just
I just
kidding.
know that telephone number does not work. Oh, hello, Tammy and Chuck.
Hi, Tammy.
Is our audio okay?
Hi, Chuck. How Fallon?
Just want to check because we had to switch mics around and everything else. So we kept with the right background.
Yeah, I know. Look, I'm Medusa.
I figured it was
I
more.
have I have my Medusa hair.
Yeah, actually. Oh, you
Look at that.
do.
It's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Tammy. Um,
On the bathroom walls.
yeah.
Thanks, Tammy. I did write it on your bathroom wall once.
You got to tell me the message off air. You have to tell me the message off air. Mine was that beam Scotty. Hey, Scotty, don't beam me up yet. I'm taking a you see the streak going up. Um, so, real quick, sides of the hand dryers. Oh yeah, right next to the hand dryer. Mine would be next to the hand sanitizer.
There's
So,
there's a story with the hand dryer.
oh really?
Yes. I have a habit of going into bathrooms
Hmm.
and you put on those really strong blower fans and you put your face under it and it goes like it's lots of fun. I wouldn't do it with COVID going on now
Oh
though.
God, no.
No, I don't recommend it. A
Uh,
little germy.
yeah.
I mean, I've got German in me, but I don't want Germans. No, I mean, okay, never mind.
You
That,
went
that could
there.
go. That could go places.
So, so just to let you know, if you see us leaning over to read, hello, Laura, comments or different things like that, it's because we have one cable that's sitting in the middle of our view,
Yes.
and it's like, um. Anyway, so, well, I preset all this up. So, Elaine, everybody. Um, so I've known her, but just in case you don't know her, and I have the highest respect for her abilities, her ability to be straight laced and upfront. Just overall, I know I'm just,
Yeah.
but still.
Starting to feel greasy.
I just absolutely adore her for her abilities and not only that, her energy. So, um, welcome her. And so we're going to jump right into it. Just to let you know, we may go over in time because we're both pretty vocal on
Oh
some of
yeah.
these subjects. And
And we talk
yes.
a lot. Yeah.
So, and I got my notes. That's why I'm looking down before anybody judges me. What is my hair doing? I've kind of got this. I don't know.
It looks nice.
I don't want to go there, but anyway.
Go wild and free.
Well, so let's go with it. Well, let's tell everybody about yourself. People don't know you.
Oh gosh. How much time do we have?
Tell me about your mother.
Oh no. No. That's going to very dark places. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. But anyways, yeah, like we could go back there. So let's just see. So I'm a firm believer that we come into this world, we're all gifted. Some of us are maybe a little more in tune with that at younger ages. And I have a firm belief that a lot of people that are gifted are labeled as different mental illnesses.
Hmm.
They're labeled as schizophrenic, they're labeled as different things. It's because they can maybe see and hear things that other people can't. then there's that stigmatism that, maybe they are hearing things and
Yeah.
maybe they are seeing things. Um, so as a child, I had many different experiences, a lot of which I've blocked out.
Mm.
But I could hear, and I would have trouble sleeping at night because I would hear that
Mhm.
like this, that like 1,000 voices. And you cover your ears and it's louder. And then I was raised, believe it or not, you could probably do drum roll.
I don't
Would
have
you?
a
You
drum roll
don't
in
have a
there.
drum roll.
No.
Okay.
But
Like doing what I do and how I was raised, it's kind of like a shocker. I was raised Jehovah's Witness. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I mean, drum roll would have been good too, but it's kind of where I'm at.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, anyone who knows of them knows that, um anyone who does anything psychic or readings or fortune telling, or it's all the demons or Satan, or it's highly like you're going to die, like
Mhm.
you're worthy of God's wrath at Armageddon, die.
Right.
So that's how I was raised. um and never mind, like everything's wrong, like, well, heaven forbid Halloween, like that's just
Mhm.
Satan's holiday. But birthdays, Christmas, everything, I had to stand out in the hallway for O Canada,
Mm.
right? Because that was what was taking away from worshiping God. You were worshiping your country. um so I mean, having the abilities that I had, right? And I had an aunt. I had an aunt that was, my mom labeled as worthy of the Lumini bin.
Mm.
And I remember the first time I went to go visit her, and she was talking about, oh, I heard this voice and blah blah blah, and I was just like, what? Like what? Right? I couldn't. I was like, you too, right? In my head as a child, I was like, oh my gosh, and I was just listening intently. And then when we left, my mom was like, oh, she's crazy. She should be in an insane asylum. She's schizophrenic, right? So then I got that stigma, like, oh, maybe something's wrong with me,
Mhm.
right? So you tend to like turn things off. So like, I mean, fast forward, I stayed in that religion.
Mhm.
I use the word
Cult.
loosely. Yeah, you
Sorry.
said it. Yeah.
No,
But
I
I mean, I
understand
didn't,
that.
lo and behold, if my parents ever see this, oh my gosh, they've already, kind of written me off. But I'm friends with Satan.
Do,
Did you know that?
do you want me to play some church music in the background?
No,
Okay, just I didn't
I
know.
might light on fire. But anyways, so I mean, it was a lot because their thing is control, right? So
Mhm.
you're only allowed to have association with people who are in the religion. Anyone else is considered worldly. Um, so it is a very lonely way
Mhm.
to grow up, and I stayed in it for guilt of losing my family. Didn't want to lose my family and everyone
Right.
that I knew. Um, but I eventually did leave because I just couldn't. Yeah, there's a long story. Like I said, this could be really long. Just talking about this. But um, so I did leave, and there was just fundamental truths, like I lost a lot of babies. One was like far along, and I was told that because he didn't have a personality yet, that he would. There was no hope of an afterlife.
Mm.
It was when you die, you were dead, and you rotted in the ground. And maybe if you were good enough, God would remember you and resurrect you after he killed everyone at Armageddon.
Oh, okay, that makes sense
That's
to
it's
me.
just
Yeah,
great,
that's a
you
very
know,
very
great
militant.
comfort when you lose a child, right?
Yeah.
So I was told that, my baby I'd lost would, there was no nothing. And I knew in my heart, like I knew that was wrong.
Mhm.
I knew it. So, lo and behold, I kind of, there is higher powers. I went through a period where I didn't believe in God at all.
Mhm.
I watched a lot of Star Trek, and there's one episode where I think it's Picard or something, and they have this like screen where no one can see them, and something malfunctions and blows up,
Mhm.
and they end up hurting someone, and they beam them up and fix them, and then they bring them back down. They
Oh
think
yeah.
Picard's God. So I
Mhm.
went through a period where I replaced God with alien,
Mm.
and it made a lot more sense in the Bible because I figured, well, maybe,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, I went through kind of like a finding myself, and I'm not against religion.
Mhm.
I'm not. I just kind of the way I was raised and that specific religion and what they taught and the fear um I knew wasn't right. I knew in my heart it wasn't right.
Mhm.
So, I'm not attacking religion. Don't
Yeah.
think that.
Well, I'm just saying that I normally do on the show, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's
and I have my opinions that way too, but I'm like a firm believer in you can believe what you want to believe, but
Mhm.
don't force your beliefs on other people, right?
Yes. Now
And
that I will give an amen.
yes, yes.
Or a
It's kind of like
fiat.
it's an opinion. Religion is opinion, and it's
Mhm.
based on how you were raised and what your environment was, and we only know what we know
Mhm.
from what we've experienced
Or we were hammered
or
into
what
our
was
head.
hammered into our head, right? So
You
I
know,
don't know. I was going somewhere with that, but I kind of, yeah, lost track. But, anyways, long story short, I ran into the right people, and I do firmly believe like the universe or whatever our life path is, certain people come in to your life. And so
Mhm.
I had, through a friend of a friend, I met this amazing person. She's my best friend. She's
Mhm.
my alien like twin sister. Um, yeah, me with the aliens. There's yeah. But anyways,
Should we get the mask?
oh, I do have the mask.
Yeah, she has an alien mask
I do have an alien mask.
that you actually walk around
I
in
walk
stores.
around.
And,
It's very hard to see and very hard to breathe.
yeah.
I could. It's dangerous. It's really dangerous.
But it gets attention.
Yeah, but that's not my point in doing it. My point in doing it is to, like I've been there where you're like at the store and you're like, oh, like this day just sucks, right? And you look over and there's an alien looking trying at bananas, right? Like, so you go home and instead of saying like, gosh, the traffic and
Hmm.
I had a horrible day, you're like, you would never believe what I fricking saw today. I saw an alien in the supermarket, right? Or in the ditch, right? I'll just stand in the ditch sometimes and just stare at people as they're going by. Well, I mean, with my limited vision, because it's very, you can't really see. But that's my thing is that, like everyone has their things that they're going through in life, and I don't do it for attention because no one knows it's me underneath there.
Well,
It's like Superman,
oh
right?
yeah. Well,
It's like those
Superman.
magic glasses. Just all of a sudden, no one knows who I am. But kind of giving it away now. But
So if you see an alien on the side of the road with a thumb out,
it's probably me.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't hitchchike.
You don't even have to. I doubt anybody's
I
going to
have
stop
my
and pick you up.
spaceship.
The wrong people are going to.
Yes. But anyways, so long story short, that's how I kind of found that I was the things that I'd suppressed all those years were actually gifts that were given me to help other people.
Mm,
I mean, even people who were in that religion would come to me and ask me things and say, "Oh, you're so good at reading people."
right.
I didn't think of it as re this is so backwards. Reading
I
people,
know
right?
you can't do the point thing because you're.
Yeah, it's like mirrored. It's really trippy. But anyways, um yeah, so I would read people, but I didn't really think of it as psychic. And I still tend to I doubt myself and I have a lot of because of what was hammered in my head
Mhm.
as a young person that it's wrong and that or whatever, right? Like maybe I'll go to hell.
Mm.
Actually, they don't believe in that, but
Yeah, fear and doubt is the worst
yeah,
poison in the world.
it is. So that's a little bit of my history. I could
Mhm.
probably write a book.
Yeah, you should.
I should. I've been told I should, but
Well, I wonder who said that the other day. Um,
who?
Allison.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she was actually talking to me about that and
Yeah.
telling me how I should do it because I'm a procrastinator. And the only time that I even write my writings for my show on Access is because I have a deadline and I'll do it the night before. Like I really need a deadline to do anything.
Oh
Oh, is that me?
no, that's not
Okay.
you. Um, Let me move this because just like in the paranormal, a cell phone will cause interruption.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in the realm of psychic abilities,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do?
Me? Well, I'm very good at reading people.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. So I
Stop
can.
looking at me then.
And that's the other thing is people like get scared of me because they
Mm.
think that I'm like in their head,
Mhm.
right? And so that's something that's well, maybe we'll get into that
We'll get into
later.
that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get into that later. I'm already like I'm picking up what you're putting down
Hmm.
because I am on right now, right?
Yep.
So, and that's the other thing is that I have the ability to like. It took me a while to learn how to do that. Trust me, but
Mhm.
to just shut stuff off, and not.
You sure you don't want me to get you a crystal and you can lasso it?
Oh my
And
gosh,
no. Anyway, I'm sorry.
no,
We're not going
no.
there.
Can I hit you?
Yeah. I'm I'm kind of bummed because Jared doesn't look like he's on here because you made a Star Trek reference and everything in Magic's everything is a Star Trek reference
Oh
with
well,
him.
Star Trek
So
is the bomb.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So we're gonna real quick play a commercial. Well, I hate the word commercial because as soon as you say the word commercial, it's like I don't want to watch anymore. So we're not
An
gonna
interlude.
an interlude. Yeah,
That's a good word.
yeah. So here you go. This is Carly with the Broom Closet slash Jessup's General Store, and then we have a quick show and tell after that. No, not like that. Yeah, you'll get the idea.
Welcome to Jessup's General Store and the Broom Closet Witchcraft Supply Shop. I'm Carly Jessup, owner of Jessup's General Store, and not seen on camera is Donna Kruger, who's the owner of the Broom Closet Witchcraft Supply Shop. We are located in Regina, Saskatchewan in the Heritage neighborhood, and in our shop you can find all sorts of cool things, from occult-inspired clothing, art and accessories, to witchcraft supplies like herbs, incense, candles, and other sorts of divination tools. Hopefully you can come and check it out sometime.
And then there was this one time I had the rash. Oh, we're right back.
Oh,
Oh, okay, sorry.
Tell me about that later.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
So,
speaking of Carly,
mhm,
look what I picked up today.
nice.
It's amazing. It's a dress.
Now
So
you
I
got to show off the biggest feature of it.
the
though.
biggest feature. Okay, so I told Carly I was like, you know what is the best feature of this dress is. Oh, let me get up here. Okay, see, it's silly. There's pockets. So one of my pet peeves in all of the world, I will buy men's clothing just so to have pockets because a lot of women's clothing doesn't have pockets.
Mhm.
And do you know why?
Please
Do you know why?
I didn't know until you
Okay,
told
this
me
is
earlier.
one of
but
this is one of the stories. I don't know if this is actually true, but I believe it.
Mm.
It's because of the witches.
we're everywhere. No, I'm
I
sorry,
know.
but
But back in the day,
Mhm.
they didn't want women to have pockets because they were witches
Mm.
and they could hold like spells in their pockets, right?
Mhm.
And so they wouldn't have pockets.
Hmm.
Yeah, because they could just like, right? Just like pull it out.
Nice. I like the extra.
So, I'm very grateful for these pockets because now I could just like.
We were discussing this earlier, and I told her I'm going to show her how to do fireballs, and she can keep them in her pockets, and then
Ooh.
she can throw them out.
Oh, I can already do that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, pockets in a dress of all
Mhm.
things. Like, wow.
I get excited when there's pockets in my robes.
Really?
Yeah, because when the ritual robes, they normally don't have pockets. They might put a slit so you can reach inside, but most people don't wear much underneath the robe because it's hot. So,
Yeah, I don't blame them.
so those pockets turn into a itch.
Do you keep like spells in them?
No,
See, like, where did they come up with that idea and like torture women for the rest of?
because it's male dominated.
Oh,
It drives
but
me
babies
nuts.
get pockets.
Yeah, but
Babies.
I mean, it's a completely different topic, but just a quick touch on it. Most societies were all matriarchal before the patriarchal took over, and when they did, they just wanted to keep it that way.
Mm-hmm. And take the pockets away.
Yeah, take pockets away.
The power of the pocket.
The power of the pocket. Puts a whole new meaning to hot pocket. No, I'm sorry.
That's
I had to
why
go
I
there.
buy men's like clothing, like pajama pants and stuff. Gotta buy men's. Women don't get pockets. I'm not even no word of a lie. It has been a pet peeve of mine
I never noticed that.
from babyhood. Oh no, I had pockets when I was a baby.
So, real quick, let's pretty much let's face it. In the paranormal community, the magical community, it doesn't matter what community it is. There's always these crackpots that just create this whole blanket nightmare. And I've spoken out very vocally about, against carnies and whatnot. We know a few, personally. So why do you feel like there's so many carnies out there? I mean, are they attention whores, or what's going on with that? Why is it they feel like they got to do all the bells and whistles and dance around with shakers and love and light everything? Mm. Sorry, I choked a little bit when I said that. Mm.
Well, it's kind of hard to know what makes another person tick. Um, but I do think a lot of it is attention seeking. I do agree with that. Um, and just it's really hard to put your finger on it, but something's just not maybe wired right with them. Like
Is it training, or is it they found out they have some abilities and they're just
right.
running around like a clown?
Yeah, I think for some, and maybe it got them attention, and then it kind of like morphed into this where that's um
Excuse me.
where they went,
Mm.
right? And then there's the um not just the attention, but the I don't know, like as much as I was saying at the beginning, and geez, how do I word this properly?
Mm. Hold on. I'm gonna pop Chuck's comment on here.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of it's that, and some of it is maybe a little bit of like I'm kind of mentally unstable myself,
We
but
all are.
we all are. But I mean, when you have these abilities, it can go one like it can, like how my aunt was labeled as schizophrenic, and what
Chuck's comment.
what yes, can become like a cult following, right? Um, so I mean, why does anyone do what they do? Yeah. So it is for the attention, and to get the wazow, and the money, and the people thinking like, oh wow, like I wish I had that ability, or like, and I tell people like, it took me years to learn to turn it off.
Mhm.
You don't want that. And so, I mean, like I was saying with my aunt, and maybe when you're on, it could drive you to madness,
Mhm.
right? So maybe there's a little bit of that going on too, where there isn't that
Mental
the
stability.
mental stability to control it either, right? So it can really like mess with you if you don't really get it under control. And then if you do something and it gets you attention once, then you're going to do it again. So yes, there's a little bit
I'm
of that, I would say.
I'm gonna pop on Jim's comment on here. Call it mind-to-mind communication. In indigenous people, you use this to survive. Actually, the mind-to-mind communication has also been recorded in several Mesopotamian and as well as Sumerian records.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that link. But like you said, if the person's not mentally stable as it is, and they haven't learned how to control it, whatnot, it can literally make them seem absolutely loopy. It's not to say
Right.
I'm not discrediting their ability. I'm just saying that the way they approach everything is just, oh my god,
Yeah. A little over the top sometimes.
yeah, a little
Yeah.
over the top.
Hey.
So, and this has been a reoccurring account. Um, that's happened several times over. People coming in here to the shop or to the building, and one of the people affiliated with Admitted to Effect, Jared, as a matter of fact, I'm going to call him out since he's not on there. where someone came up to him and says, "I've got a message for you," and just starts hugging him and tries to control the situation. And I've had the same person come up to me. It's the same person came up to me and says, "I see an angel behind you," and I took off running. But these people that um, these they rank in that attention. Please pay attention to me. Um, but what do you feel about psychics running up just out of the I'm not regardless of their ability, them running up to someone because we call it psychic rape
Mhm.
because they didn't ask for permission. They're not coming up and saying, "Hey, do you want a reading or anything like that?" Or "Hey, I'm sensing some energies. Do you mind if I help?" Or they're just diving straight into everything and without permission. What's your opinion on those? And you can be brutally honest with this.
Okay. So I would consider it the same as you do.
Mhm,
It is a psychic rape, so to speak.
mhm.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
And like I was talking earlier, how I will have people that are like afraid, like, oh, I've been trying to block you with my mind because
Mhm,
like you could read my mind, and like, and it's like, well, one, I don't really want to, and
mhm,
two, like that's just when you are connected and you're connected to, I don't even know what to call it. It's so huge. But when you're connected to that, there's just kind of this unspoken rule that's just no,
mhm,
right? Um, so I've actually gotten hurt by not, like, normally I turn my abilities off and I kind of put up my guards so that I don't get the hey, hey,
mhm,
hey, hey,
mhm.
right? So that's what I'm talking about, the control. So if you didn't
Mhm.
have the control, that would probably drive a person mad.
Right.
Um, but there's sometimes where this will step in, and I had it happen. Actually, my fiance was renewing his plates,
Mm,
and I had I can't remember what her name was, but anyways, on spirit side,
mhm,
like, it was her granddaughter that was across in the room and was
mhm.
like, tell her it's me, tell her, right? And I was super tired, and when I'm super tired, that's when my guards go down a little bit. So I
No.
was like, no, like, no, I'm
Mhm.
not going to do that. I'm not going to be like, hey, you know,
Mhm.
across the room, is your name so and so? Do you have a grandma named so and so?
Mhm.
Right? Like, no. Like, if they're going about their day, that's the it's just a no. You
Mhm.
don't do that. It is so wrong.
It's
I
also
mean,
taking advantage of someone's vulnerability.
vulnerability, and
Yeah.
it's a personal space. Everyone has their personal space and their personal bubble, and their people who are in that personal bubble, whether they're guides or deceased loved ones or whatever. That's nanya.
Mhm.
I tell my kids that all the time. You know what nanya is?
Yeah, yeah. Let me translate
Nanya
it.
business.
None of your damn business.
Nanya business. So I mean, that's like really not okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and especially if you, I don't know about you, but like if I'm drinking and I'm
Mm.
a little like inebriated, then my guards come down even more.
Oh yeah.
So I've had a moment where it kind of spiraled on me, and this is where, I'm going to tell this story. So I was outside of a nightclub because I like to shake my booty,
Mhm.
and so I was really rather, under the influence,
Mhm.
and so open and whatever. So I'm standing outside having a smoke, and there was these group of three young guys that were there. And again, I had that, like, tell him it's I think it was Jay or something. Tell him I'm here. Tell him, right? And in my state I was in, I was like,
Mhm.
does anyone know right? And I was like, instantly as it came out of my mouth, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Right?
Mhm.
Like, you shouldn't be doing that. And then my friend, who was also inebriated,
Mhm.
was like, oh, she's a psychic medium and blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah, right? And I'm like, oh, like, take the words back, right? And they
Mhm.
were like, oh my gosh, like, we had a friend that just passed like about 6 months ago in an accident. And they were freaked out and like pushed past me. And I was like, oh, that was horrible.
Well,
Right.
that's the other
And
thing.
that's where, like, there's that knowing that it's just not okay.
Mhm.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah, because if somebody's vulnerable, like they've been drinking too, so they're vulnerable as well.
Right.
So it's the same concept, and it's the way I'm viewing it is that when you relay these messages, you have no idea the mental state, the background, everything that's going on. And say like this example that I gave earlier, if let's say like a person is grieving really really bad, you may think that you're comforting them, but you're actually probably hurting them more.
Tormenting them is the word,
So
right? Because even if someone comes to me for a reading,
mhm,
the most mentally taxing, emotionally taxing part is the filtering.
yeah,
Because sometimes you have to use your ability to um, filter, like if this person's ready for a certain message or not. And to me, it's the equivalent of we've all done it. Like you're looking for a house to rent
mhm,
or you're looking for a house to buy, right?
right,
So you see the listing and you drive past and you stop and you're kind of like, oh, right? Doesn't look like anyone's home.
hmm,
So you go peek in the windows.
mm,
There's definitely no one home, right?
right,
So you're going to the door, you try the door handle, it's open.
hmm.
Now, do you go in and take a look? No,
No.
no, because that's like, it's just this unsaid law. Like
Mhm,
you could technically do it, especially if the house is empty.
right.
But
Respect.
yes, it's like you don't cross that threshold,
She's actually
right?
describing the last time she gave me a reading. She looked inside and it was just empty. So, um, like different forms of magic, there's a different paths have different codes and different rules and different laws and blah blah blah. Um, it all ranges across the board. Is there a code or something like that for psychics in general? And I'm using the word psychics. I want to make sure I'm clear. I'm using this as a blanket term because
Mhm.
there's several different types of psychics. And I just want to kind of make sure I'm using that, make sure everybody's aware. I'm using it as a blanket term.
Right.
So, is there a code of conduct or for the different paths or?
There should be.
Mm,
There should be. Um, I do think, like I said, like um, it's just a matter of like if you're someone that's truly connected, that code is just known. It's kind of like in your DNA.
mhm,
But yes, there should be a code. There should be a you don't go into someone else's personal space. You just don't. It is like it is a form of rape. It is a personal, it's invading someone's personal space, their personal bubble, and just because you can doesn't mean you should.
all right.
Um
It's kind of like me dancing. I can, but I probably shouldn't.
oh, you dance your heart out.
So, so the reason I bring that up is, getting back to the topic of the book. Just, just saying,
What book?
the one you're going to be typing up.
What?
Um,
You have to give me a deadline, but maybe it'll get done.
oh, I'll give you a date on it. So I'm using this as a reference also in the paranormal community, in every community out there. So, based on my personal experience, it seems like most psychics have seen way too much TV, just like paranormal investigators, and they're trying to use that as their guidebook of how they're supposed to act. I'm going to give you a real life scenario. It was here at the building. So, in order to do a reading, the person needed to have specific books out that they've never read. They wanted them out, so it was nice and cool looking. Certain type of things hanging up all around that showed palmistry and everything else. These are ones I call carnies. It was a big giant production, and so to me, it's like they'd either gone to way too many circuses in the past, or they've watched way too much TV. It could have been their mentorship. It could have been, I don't know, maybe their marketing manager. They thought this was going to work for them. And it does work. Unfortunately, it draws in the wrong crowd.
Mhm.
Well, when I say wrong crowd, the ones that want to throw the money on the table.
Right.
Um, uh, what's where does this all come from? This whole carny bit where I've got to run around with shakers and have things hanging up and a gong on my table, and in order to do a reading for somebody. I mean, I've seen you do a reading before, and I'm gonna call her out on this. Uh, Pulling up a chair, sitting on some stairs in the corner. You know, well, I didn't see any bells, whistles, no crazy scarf and a wrap around and all this other stuff. Why is it that people feel like they have to do that? Is it the drawing of the money, or or are they actual trigger items for them? That they have to have that there in order to enhance their ability?
I mean, there is something to having objects that you draw a certain energy from.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, there is that. Like I'll sometimes wear. I'm not wearing any protection today. Oh my gosh. Anyways,
Mm.
I will wear different crystals
That's
and
because you're
whatnot.
here.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And I am Medusa, so I'm all powerful. Um, but and I do think, and that was the funny thing, because when I first started kind of embracing, because how I was raised,
Mhm.
I didn't watch anything like that. I didn't. I was very what's the word, like naive, and never had, like, when I did my first reading, I'd never had a reading myself. I'd never seen anyone do a reading. I'd never watched anyone do a reading. I'd never, I had nothing to reference.
Mhm.
And then I was floored, and I still, like, I struggle with my own abilities, and I have to be reminded of who I am sometimes, because it's hard grained into me to that this is just Huey, and it's,
Mhm.
you know so I had nothing to reference. I've never watched any of these shows, so maybe someone having watched those shows, trying to copy or think that, there's that possibility. I even to this day, like, there was one, I don't even know if I should mention names, but there was one very well-known Hollywood star
Mhm.
that was like, "Oh, so you're like so and so." And I'm like, "Who?" Right? Like, "Who?" I had to Google it. So I did, and I looked on YouTube, and I watched. I didn't watch a full episode. Like, I've never watched a full episode of anything.
Mhm.
I just knew, like, that's not. I don't know. It just felt wrong to me, and I don't really know why. And I can't put my finger on it.
Hmm.
But watching it was like watching a performance. This specific person that I was told, that I Googled,
Mhm.
and it was all about the show and the whatever,
Mhm.
and just intuitively I knew, like, stop watching that.
Mhm.
Right, it turned me off, and I was like, I don't want it to affect who I am, and that energy, I didn't want in my energy.
Well, I've noticed since COVID has happened, well, I mean, everybody's seeing every show known to mankind right now on repeat, um, because we're not filming in Saskatchewan right now, so we don't have any. Anyway, that's a completely
Yeah,
different subject.
yeah, we need Allison.
But uh, since then, people are gotten tired of the glam and the BS. They want just people to be upfront.
Hmm.
And people, I've got to pause for a second because it's really eating at me. When we broadcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we're already being spammed on Twitch by a complete idiot because we don't look for numbers. Sorry. We're not here to gain numbers and followers and whatnot. We're here to deliver a message. So whoever that is on Twitch, you can
Is
just
that it?
yeah. We can see it on our end.
Oh, we can buy followers.
Oh yeah, we can buy
Oh my
followers.
gosh, what are primes?
I don't know.
And what?
Yeah,
Big something.
yeah. So the spammers are out there. I get them that they rank in the other category of paranormal investigators and psychics that we can't stand. So the idiot that just posted that, just go on your merry way.
Oh, he's just trying to make money, Matt.
I know, and that's
He's
why
just
I
trying to
just
make
brought that up.
money.
It fits perfect with our theme. Um, so uh,
Sorry,
with the paranormal, I know I got distracted when I saw it because
it made you angry.
it did because Cosmos Astrum, everything we do here is not about making money, is to educate and to give different perspectives to people so that they can learn and grow. They can either say, I don't want to do this, this is ridiculous, or hey, I can take this one little piece of information.
Hmm.
And, so we don't look for likes and all this other stuff. It's nice. We love it, but it's not our goal. And so when we get these emails and these messages like this, it just really, fingernails down the chalkboard for me. So anyway, let's get back on track.
Okay.
Breathe, breathe. Anyway, so hopefully they heard me. I doubt it. They probably dropped it in there and ran. Crazy.
Or it's a bot.
Yeah, or it's
Could
a
be a
bot.
bot.
Yeah, and probably even the bot said, "Holy crap, it's a bunch of witches in there."
She has pockets.
She has pockets.
Look at her pockets.
Don't look at my pockets. Okay, maybe. Okay, so well, I'll tell you what. Let's go to Lalican Owens, out of Ontario. Sean, he's amazing. He's actually really amazing. Love him to death. He makes incense and candles just like here, but
Oh.
we work very closely together and we chat. And we look at this as well, we're brothers. So he's and he's helped me out here recently. He wanted to get rid of some stuff, and it just so happens it's exactly what I've been looking for. So we just did a little exchange on the side.
Nice.
Anyway, so real quick, Sean from Lalican Owen from Thunder Bay, Ontario. So
Hi everyone, my name is Sean and I'm the owner of Lalo Gonzalwin. I make natural handcrafted intention-based products like beeswax spell candles, scented spell candles, loose incense, stick incense, liquid incense, anointing oils, and bath salts. So you can check out all of my products on my website at www.lailokensawen.com.
love him. He's amazing. So let's kind of go to the carnies, and I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, and it's my normal rant of the carnies on the perceptive exchange with the the Carnival of Madness. I know that was horrible. I should have muted it. So in my book, my personal opinion, performance psychics are the worst, the absolute worst. I feel I'm not talking about the Vegas entertainment. I'm not talking about going to and you're paying to sit there and watch a psychic go around the room and do it, whether it's a gimmick or not. I'm not talking about that because you're paying for that entertainment.
Right.
I'm talking about the solitaires that feel that they have to make up stuff and perform for you. The ones that can't get a reading on a person and they still make stuff up to kind of get that. You can't get a cold read.
Or ask those like questions.
Yeah, there's digging questions to get something. What's your thought on this? About this type of people? Are they really psychics, or is it they have some ability, but they feel like they have to have this to do their job? I don't know.
Okay, so one thing that I always tell everyone is everyone is psychic. Everyone has these abilities, right?
Right.
So to label someone as psychic or non-psychic
Mhm.
is kind of one of my things where I'm like, everybody has these abilities. Some hone in on it and use it and practice it and can actually, so yes, like everyone has that ability, but whether they're actually,
Right.
very good at it is another thing. And even myself, like I don't pump myself up that I'm like all knowing or whatever. Like lots of times I'll even turn down someone to do a reading.
Well, why are you pulling a billboard behind your car? No, just kidding.
Oh, you jerk. You weren't supposed to see that.
Just kidding.
But-
she's not.
No.
You're probably the most humble that I've ever run across.
I'm just squishy. So what was the question again? Reframe me because my brain just wandered.
Okay, let me just give you an example. Um, can't get a reading on a person because, and I'm going to back up real quick. I agree with you. I think everyone has the ability to feel, transmit
Oh yeah.
energy all across the board. It's how you interpret it and how you develop it. So as far as that goes, 100% agree with you. But as far as someone labeling themselves as a psychic, um, why is it that like in this case?
See, and I have trouble labeling myself as psychic.
I hate labels.
I don't like labels.
Hmm.
I'll call myself intuitive before I'll call myself a psychic. Um, yeah, it's just, and part of it is because of, as you peg it, the carnies, right?
Hmm.
Like I've had people come in and expect a performance.
Hmm.
I am not a monkey with symbols. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm not here for your performance privileges for you to. I can't. Um, it's I've had a few experiences with different people that and I had one even come in just to mess with me, just to mess with me, right? Because they probably had a hate on
Hmm.
because of visiting someone else who was a performer,
Right.
right? So everything that I was saying, she's like, no, no,
Hmm.
no. And I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, that's what I'm freaking getting.
Hmm.
Right? Like, sorry, I can't help you.
Hmm.
And then she went to pay me. And I was like, I can't accept that.
Hmm.
I can't accept that because my reason there's an exchange that happens there. And I don't feel I helped you because all I got from you was no. So obviously we didn't connect. I wasn't meant to do a reading for you.
Hmm.
So then she backpedaled and well yeah, this is true and that's true and you were right about this or you're right about that. And it's so stressful
Hmm.
to be put on that spot where it's just like dance monkey,
Yeah,
right? And it's insulting almost.
because I know a couple of people that go to the psychic fair they usually have here, and before COVID, and they go just for the purpose of messing with psychics,
Hmm.
and
It sucks.
they go there and they it's like they sat down. This one particular person sat down with her sister. Um, she took off her wedding band, everything. They took everything that could be identified,
Hmm.
and they sat
The
down.
testing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like in this case, they told this individual, says, "Oh, your sister passed away recently. She's literally sitting right next to her," and she's like, is everything okay?" And she's like, "Oh, everything's fine," and it just kept on. And then after at the end of it, so just to let you know, this is my sister. This is, and gave the entire history. Uh, Raven said, "Don't give away my secrets." Uh, you know, unfortunately, people feel like they have to test. Um, when you came here, yes,
You tested me a lot,
yeah, yeah, a
you
lot.
son of a.
Yeah.
Here, hold this.
Hmm. Tell me what you see.
Yeah.
Because I've done it
That's
before.
okay though,
Hmm.
because you're my friend.
Yeah, and it's not a question of abilities. It's that I want to know how far your abilities went, because I never ever have ever questioned your abilities. And I think, like, once again, we go back to the subject. I think everybody has abilities.
Hmm.
It's because I've had people do the same identical thing, and they gave me this crazy off the wall. Anyway, we won't go there, but it was very finger pointing on that comment. I was heading down that road I was going down. So yeah. Wow. Well, so oh yeah, this is my biggest pet peeve, and everybody has heard it on the show, on every show I've been on the radio show, on doesn't matter. So, what's your opinion of people saying, I can't try and do this with a straight face. Stop. Wait. there's someone here. They want me to move them onto the light. There's someone here. I've got to move them to the light or cross them over or whatever. Anyway, your opinion on this?
The light, hey?
Or crossover or whatever.
You know what? I'm gonna move you to the light.
Thank you. You see, I see where you're going with
Do you
that.
see? Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So okay. Mm, okay. So spirit is you or I,
Mhm.
just without our flesh bag,
Right.
right? So who's gonna tell me what to do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but if I'm a spirit and you told me to go to the light, I tell you to go after yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's the thing, like the fact that
And they wonder where demons come from.
oh,
Somebody told me to get out. Well, I'm
I'm just kidding. No, really. No, I'm just kidding.
Head spinning around.
Well, I do have the hair for it.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, like spirit isn't like, and that's again where I do see that, where it's like I did encounter a certain person at a certain store
Mhm.
and was told that I must be a very, very powerful person in the spirit realm because of all of the people that were around me. But I was told that by someone who was actually credible,
Mm,
right?
okay.
I was at work, and again, it was probably a little inappropriate, but and I was still Jehovah's Witness at the time, so yeah. But anyways, so it was alarming that I had people standing around me. But she actually went down the aisle and was like doing this whooshing, like, oh, like there's one now. Like I help these spirits go on and move on and go to the lights and oh, there's one now, right? And
Is-
down the aisle she went and
And in
was like,
between this, she was doing some jumbling
there was
language.
some, I don't know, it was a while ago, like
Okay, yeah.
seriously years ago. But
Yeah.
she was doing whooshing and things, and I used that opportunity to kind of run away.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like that's where it does get into like almost like a theatrical performance.
Mhm.
Whereas is part of helping spirit is helping their messages get through. Because a lot of times they're sticking around because they're concerned about loved ones that they've left behind. So part of having these abilities is giving them their voice,
Mhm.
giving them their voice back to be able to get these messages. And again, there's that boundary of when it's appropriate.
Right.
So sometimes they're like so desperate on the other side, and you're like, when you have these abilities and you're turned on,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? You're
Different
kind
show.
of like
It's a different show.
different show. That's like next week in the bathroom by my writing on the wall. but excuse me, you're making me cough.
I'm glad you didn't say you got choked.
No, right? They're getting very bathroom wally.
Sorry.
Um. So I look at it as it's an honor and a privilege to be able to have this ability. And so it's just like moths coming to a light bulb, right?
Mhm.
Like they are drawn to you because they can see, oh, there's someone that can hear me,
Mhm.
you know? And so it's kind of like they're in this thing where they're going up and they're like, you know,
Mhm.
and there's no way of communicating, right? So when they see someone that's a microphone,
Mhm.
you know, you do, and that's why it's so important to turn off, right?
Right.
Because you would end up, you know.
I was gonna back up with that because usually when we were on paranormal investigations, Corey used to come out and say, "We're not getting anything this time, Matt. Go do your stuff." Well, I didn't do anything. I just walked through. Because Allison came up with the theory that magical practitioners are always connected to all different um, realms, all worlds at all times.
Mhm.
So when they're walking through these areas, they're more visible. And it's the same way, with someone intuitive, they're walking through. They become more visible, so they can actually catch more messages. And once again, you have to learn to turn it off or control, filter a little bit. But yeah, I absolutely agree with that because you literally become a beacon um, for different realms, different veils, however you want to word it.
Yeah, and there's so much out there.
Yeah.
To label it like dark or light or demon or
ghost
ghost
yeah.
or how about a multi-dimensional being that presents itself as a cube?
Yeah.
Right? Like there is so much out there.
Mm-hmm.
To have those labels is another thing
Right.
that irks me a little bit. Because there's this layers upon layers upon layers upon layers.
So my next question is a very touchy one. So I probably should move out of arm's reach because this is a touchy subject in the community. Because well, so.
Well, would you just get on with it?
Oh my gosh!
Jeez, you're building it up.
Yeah, I am. Well, what's your opinion about being paid to do psychic readings? What would you consider as fair? Because when I watched your video, I really liked one of the comments. You don't have to give me anything, a donation if you want. If not, have a nice day. Glad I could help. Um, I This is my personal opinion. If you're renting a space to do readings,
which I do,
right, you have to charge because you're dumping a lot of money into rent. Like here, if we have people here, it's not the same concept. So is it that taken consideration, or is it this heavy fee no matter what if I'm paying rent or not? I know for the mass populace it is, but what's your personal opinion on that?
See, and this is something that has been a personal struggle, right? My fiance upstairs is very much like, you need to charge, right? Like you should be, charging so much because he has to deal with me afterwards, right? So when I'm really really like if I do a full day of readings and especially mediumship, it does drain me. So then he has to deal with the after effects of that, and when it drained someone who's connected, it can get a little scary. So he's had to experience some things that no man should ever have to experience, and not in a good way. But what I'm trying to say is there is like it takes a lot of energy to do some of the things. Like if I'm doing like a healing session where I'm channeling energy and I'm pushing energy out, that actually helps me. I find that it balances my energy and helps. So, I mean, there needs to be an exchange because there are people who will do this. Like it's like if you have these abilities, there's some that are so good at it that they're able to they don't want to have a secular job that takes away from that. There is such a love in their heart to want to help, and I feel that that's what I feel is I do it because of my love for people. But at the same time, I have children to feed and I have rent to pay and I have all these things. So there needs to be a balance. But and so I struggled with that because to me, it was like, this is a gift. I should give this gift. And who am I to, charge? And I remember this one, how do you say it? Is it meme?
No.
Mem? Whatever.
Whatever.
And it shows this guy and he's looking in his fridge, right? And it was about that, about charging. And it was like, it's all great, but where's the food? MFer, right? So I mean, there has to be some kind of like there is an unspoken universal kind of exchange of energy. Now, whether that energy is monetary or here's a chicken, right? Or whatever. But a lot of times I do a lot of free work because it is about helping people. And a lot of times people are really down on their luck. And that's when they need you the most, is when they don't have the money. But you know what? Whenever I've had to tell I can say fiance now. I'm newly engaged,
Oh, nice. Oh, I didn't know.
Um, but he would get so upset, right? Like you
Mhm.
need to be charging, you need to have like a set fee, whatever. So what I do is I have a sliding scale fee, is what I call it.
Hmm.
So it's based on your ability to pay. So if your ability to pay is this much,
Mhm.
that's what I get. If you can pay $25,
Mhm.
that's what I'll get. And sometimes I've like they'll give me a certain amount and I intuitively know that's maybe more than they can afford.
Right.
So so yes, there isn't anything wrong for per se of charging. Um but when your motivation is to help, like it's such a touchy subject, like you said,
Mhm.
because you don't.
I bring this up because you actually quoted exactly some of the conversations that goes on here. Because I want to, continue these classes and whatnot. I do it under donation.
Hmm.
Because I grew up very poor,
Ditto.
um, and there was a lot of missed opportunities where I couldn't afford it,
Hmm.
and so I just do it donation based. And someone that can afford it, they can. They can't. It doesn't matter. You don't never know from week to week. You may be having the best paying life ever. There may be that one week you can't do it, and but you really want to go. That's why I want to do it donation based. Although I've had that conversation that I should be charging, and I'm going to quote Jenny. In this aspect, an artist struggle with charging. You know, from a personal perspective.
Yeah,
So,
because I've been there. I've
hmm
been there where I've been in some pretty dark, low places in my life,
hmm I think we all know.
and and so I personally know that spot. And when I see that spot in someone else,
Hmm
I can't help but help.
Right.
And money doesn't even come into my brain.
hmm
It just, if you need my help and you reach out to me and you're struggling to feed your family and you're struggling to pay your rent, I'm not going to add to your burden
Right.
by saying, well, I'm sorry, but I can't help you because my rate's this,
hmm
right? Come back to me when you have that.
Yeah. Which
Like, no.
we have heard that.
But the problem is then too, it's not a problem. Actually, it's not a problem.
Mhm,
Is what goes around comes around.
Right.
Like that's such a common saying, but it's so true. You get what you give. So if you're giving of yourself and your gifts,
hmm
then the universe, the beings, the ones that are on the other side that are grateful for what you've just done for
hmm
them are going to make sure you have food on your plate and make sure your rent is paid. It just happens. There's no worry to
Yeah,
it.
that's when you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, like, and
So.
sometimes I'm kind of like, no, I'm not even going to say that. No. I was told no. No. But yes, I get told I need to charge, and then I've been told by many, many friends, like especially after I've done readings, like it's oh, you need to be charging, and people will take advantage. I know I've been taken advantage of.
Oh yeah.
Big time. You've been
hmm
taken advantage of. They have the ability to pay.
Oh yeah. Well, it doesn't matter if they pay or not. It's just
But
there are many times I know of for a fact I've been taken advantage of, and will I do it again? Yep.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
I know we're suckers. but
uh,
but at the same time, like you have to believe in the goodness of humanity and believe in the fact that what goes around comes around. It's you give good, you're gonna get good.
I'm a firm believer. I don't like to wait for karma.
Mm, yes, I know.
But anyway, I don't go by that whole rule of three crap.
No, 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 no. Rules are stupid. I'm sorry, but there is no rules.
Yeah. But really, literally, God, I wish you was going to be here for my class tomorrow because you would laugh at my when I could actually do a whole section on rules, laws, axioms, and monads, and because the way they're broken down in different paths, and when I get to the rules part, you would have just fell out of the chair laughing. So, um, so I'm gonna pick on the paranormal community because I love to pick on the paranormal community because everything's got to be blinky lights. Got to have all the blinky lights and
Mhm.
whatnot. When as we discussed a minute ago, a lot of the people want to do readings. You got to have the bling. What was that? I can't remember from Office Space. The flash, the flare, the flare. You get
The
the more
flare.
the more flare you have on. So, what's your I can't wait for the class.
Yeah.
um, what's your ideal 100% perfect setting to do a reading for someone?
I don't know. Anywhere, it's just it's not like I mean, I need quiet.
Mhm,
I definitely can't have like a TV going or whatever, but I'm like that just in life.
mhm,
I if someone's got a TV going and someone's got their phone going over there and, song playing over there, like it's like an overload thing. Um but for me, like it doesn't have to be a certain location. Like I would love to do readings up in this space here.
mhm. Oh yeah.
Would love it. Love it.
Actually,
But ideally, like I can't come here every time and sit on my spot. I'm gonna call it my spot. I sat on it. It's mine.
Raven, Jenny, and Jared. If you're wondering, she's talking, and Chuck. She's talking about the dead center of the room.
Yes.
So.
And over there. But see, if I'm pointing with the mirror, is it over there? Is it over there? Tricky.
So that
But
actually. Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
But yeah, I don't think there really needs to be a certain place. Like you wouldn't want to do it in traffic or you
Oh,
know. But it's just the ability to be able to concentrate because a lot of times, like I don't know about other readers out there, but I just need to be able to get into that headspace and kind of change my vibration.
no.
So it can't be like fireworks going off or anything. Although if I got a deep enough meditation, I probably could.
Mm.
Anyways, but it doesn't need to be I could do a reading anywhere. I do not like group readings though. I do not.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's actually my very next question.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of mixed emotions about this because I feel that, and I've been to, well, I've observed. I've never actually been to one. Uh, and I have a funny story about Allison because she actually got trapped in a group reading one time.
Trapped.
Yeah, we're gonna. She
Mm.
was there for a lecture before, and she sat in the very front. And then the group reading started, and she couldn't get out because more people
Mm.
came in. And so I walk up, check on her, and I see her up there going. "Ooh." So my question is that when these group readings are going on, that's a lot of different energy in the room. Uh, I've seen people use EMF pumps, which makes it worse as far as energy in the room. I've seen different psychics use the gadgets from the paranormal to, help hone in on things. The one that I did see, um, I'm not discrediting this person because this person is actually really, really good. But what I didn't like was the performance
Mm.
because the Ovilus would say, and mind you, the Ovilus, by the way, is a little device. It only has 200 words stored into it. It has a vocabulary just slightly greater than most Alabama graduates. So it only has that, and they have the EMF pump, and all of a sudden it pops up with a word. So she'll turn around and say, "Who in the room is affiliated with this word?" And then somebody would stand up, and then she would do the reading. Um, to me, that's baiting. You're trying to give them something that they connect to. You're baiting them to come out, and now you have a singular focus.
Mm.
Um, yeah, you're getting paid a lump sum by the event to be there to do that, but to me, that's kind of my personal opinion. It's almost like they're baiting them. But in group settings, it's a lot of different energy, um, and I don't know. It seems a little Vegas to me. Uh, who? Okay, somebody in this room know a Mary? Know a Mary? Do you? Okay, yeah. See, I was right. You know, I, yeah, you may have picked up on it, but you have no idea who really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just really on the fence. I think there's an ability there to do it. I just don't. I can't quite comprehend it. And also, I was wondering if you would do group readings here. So I wanted to get your opinion. So I had to roll that question in there.
You want me to do group readings?
Well, if you could.
No.
Okay. I'm just.
I mean, to me, again, it comes into that it's personal, right? So if you want a true reading,
Mm-hmm.
there's some personal stuff that comes out. So do you want your personal underwear drawer shown to a group of people?
That's on a different channel, but
Oh,
no,
right.
sorry.
Right.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
see where you're going with
But
that.
and so it causes a little more stress on myself
Mhm.
because then you're having to like filter because you're sensing that it's something that um is personal, right? So then the person that's in that group isn't getting maybe the full benefit of what you could say in private.
Right.
Um, so I have done occasionally group readings, but my gut intuition is to take someone and pull them in another room.
Mm.
It's it's a very private, intimate thing, sometimes a reading. And then it borderlines on that performance thing
Hmm.
where you're the symbol monkey,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So it's not a performance. It's not like I understand the group reading. But if I was to ever do a group reading, like say if there's a group of people that it would be ideal to come to one spot and me come to one spot or anyone who's psychic come to one spot, I would need a corner.
Mm.
I would honestly need a corner because it's it's intimate. It's
Oh.
it's an energy. And when you have all these different energies in the room, like you were saying,
Hmm.
it's very hard to filter out sometimes where a certain thing's coming from too. So when you have that, like you can pull someone aside, and maybe there's some people out there that are way better at that. And that's something that I'm myself.
Hmm.
I prefer a more intimate setting because of the mixed energies and the fact that it can be personal and intimate and sometimes what you need to say is not something for everyone to hear.
I'm gonna throw up Raven's comment here. Uh, just compared it to stage magic, where they misdirect. Uh, I'm really hard at agreeing to that because I went at one. I'm only gonna say I've only watched a couple of group readings. The one that I did see, every time that she was wrong, she wanted to misdirect. You know, like who here is recently bought this type of car. What somebody here just recently got a car that's it keeps breaking down. Well, somebody, of course, when you got
A general term like that,
right,
yeah.
somebody's going to stand up. So you got somebody standing up, and then they turn around and they said, okay, but you've also got a cousin or somebody or relative that just recently is always somebody passed away, by the way, and then they're like, no, I don't. Oh, I must have been thinking about the person next to you. Oh, it was you, right? And they're like, no. Oh, on the other side, immediately it has to deflect because you have that excuse because you have that large group,
Yeah, okay,
and
I see what you're saying.
the misdirection, because I've seen it on a one-to-one even here. You know, um, Allison was trying to get a reading. I love this. I was walking through, and the person here was doing the reading. And I think I've told you about this offline, but they're getting the reading, and I could just see her in the chair like this, going, "Nope, uh-uh, nope," and they couldn't get a read on her. So all of a sudden, it was like, "Hold on a second, there's somebody here that wants me to move them," and
Oh my.
they had to really right away, Mister, to get the direction pointed away from this whole conversation and put on this big grand performance with that. But um, so group readings are no for you.
Like I said, if it's set up in a way because it's nice to mingle together and it's
Hmm.
nice to, you know, have that, and you're having like a bachelorette party or a bachelor party or a whatever, right? And you're there together anyways. And hey, wouldn't it be fun to do some readings?
Yeah, but
I can see that. But
this goes back to our previous comment. Now you're dealing with people's vulnerability because they're at a party,
exactly,
you know.
right? So that's what I'm saying. And I have done like an opening for a certain, I'm not even gonna give it away, but where there was some drinking, and then you get you get like a couple that
Mhm.
comes in and sits down, and you're instantly like, oh my God, right? And you're supposed to do this reading for this couple, and you're like, this relationship is doomed, right? Where you're
Mhm.
just getting like, he's a cheater,
Yeah.
you know, she's oblivious.
Hmm.
How do you do that?
Correct.
There
Yeah.
might be some changes coming up, right? Like, there's someone in your life that's not being very honest.
Just stand
You're
up.
not very honest.
Just stand up and slap the dude, and you know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's having someone else there,
Mhm.
because lots of times the messages that you get, you don't know what they mean.
Right.
But so I'm doing a reading for you.
Hmm.
Allison knows you.
Hmm.
So I say something, I have no clue what I'm saying, right? It
Right.
means something to you, and she knows what it means.
Hmm.
Where does that put you?
Yeah. That's.
In an awkward situation, possibly. Not saying like, but that's why I don't like group readings,
Mm.
because lots of times group readings, like, people do know each other very well.
Mhm.
And sometimes stuff can come out that's a little bit like, I don't know that that's personal,
Right.
right? But someone else in the room knows exactly what I just said, even though I might not know what I just said. So that's where I get that feeling of like I said, the code
Hmm.
is an unwritten code that you just know. Like, intuitively, you just know that maybe a certain group of people might be okay
So
with
just
personal information.
so to go with that, the code should be really more of a morality code.
It's morale,
And
right? Like, should you kick a puppy? No.
yeah, right.
Right? Like, it's just in you. You shouldn't have to have laws saying,
Hmm.
don't turn that handle on the door and
Yep.
walk into an empty house just because it's empty. It's someone's property.
So I'm going to make what is it on my list? And by the way, I sent her the same list, so she's kind of prepped for this. But as always, I throw that
I
one
read
extra.
it like once, and then when you sent it, then I read it like quickly with your paper here.
So
That was it.
this comes up to the question though. It should be like a morality code. So on how you conduct yourself, and everybody has different morality codes built into them. But with that being said, all these people that we've brought up with the no-nos all around down the line, if that's a reflection of their morality,
It's a reflection of their connection.
mm,
I'm sorry,
okay.
but it is like when there's an accountability for what you do.
Hmm.
There's a huge accountability, and like you had brought up the rule of 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Nah.
Mm.
But what I'm saying is that what you give, you'll get. Goes
Mhm.
around, comes around, and that works not only for giving good,
Mhm.
but it works the other way too.
Right.
So if you're going out there and you're have the wrong motives,
Hmm.
or you're doing things that are just, you don't intuitively even sense are morally wrong,
Hmm.
then do you really do you really have that connection?
Yeah. See,
Because it's just a knowing. I can't describe it. It's just a knowing of no. I get told no, right? And I'm not a toddler anymore.
I get told
don't
no
listen.
a lot, but I never
Mhm.
listen. Some people might actually say, and I know it's hard to believe, might actually say I'm stubborn. So I know it's hard to believe. So but I'm just going through all my readings. Uh, okay, we got the group reading out of the way.
So sorry.
No. This is a huge, and this is probably my last. We've gone way over time, and I'm loving every minute of it. So,
I didn't even notice.
I wasn't. I didn't really care until just a minute ago. I looked down and I said, "Holy crap!" Um, so so if you had plans and everything, sorry you had to postpone them. I'm not looking at it any other way. This is good information, and
Oh, well, thank you.
so this is one of those another touchy subjects. I'm just going to bring it out there.
Okay.
What do you feel about psychics trying to instill fear for the residual income that comes out of it? And I'm going to use a real example.
Okay.
Okay. A psychic was brought into a home in Regina because he kept having all these occurrences. This is before we got the phone call for as paranormal investigators. The psychic said the house is there's something in the house and I can pick up on it. It's demonic. Blah blah blah. It's always demonic. So
Of
they
course.
decided to they charged him a fee to do their cleansing of the home. Exuberant amount of fee, but continued with the conversation that is we're probably gonna have to come back. It's this is a demonic presence. So they're instilling fear in their whole conversation. Um, it's like when people do the readings, a simple reading. I'm going to charge you $25 to sit down and we'll do a reading. We, you've got something really negative clinging on to you.
Oh,
We'll
I see
book
where.
something later on, and I will be able to cleanse this, and then we'll do another reading, and then see how that residual income built
Car
on
salesman?
fear. Yeah, well, yeah, but they want to instill fear, so they have that residual income, and that income. By the way, that
Who did this?
I don't know exactly who.
I know you can't say,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, wow, that's dirty.
But there's a lot of people that do that, and they reside on fear to not to help people, but they want to instill fear and keep that residual income. Now, I'm going to point out in that one case that I was telling you about with the house and everything,
Mm-hmm.
they'd already been taken for over $5,000 before we got the phone call. This is multiple visits and stuff like this. And I will physically have seen that here in Regina where people do the card readings and you hear them say, "Oh, there's something really negative in your life or whatnot. If you want to pay $50 extra, I can work on getting that out of your system and whatnot." And they add on, and for a follow-up visit, add on, add on, add on until this is well into the thousands by the time it's done. Um, what's your opinion about people? Because I know you're a you're screwed type person. But but
What?
no, when you're doing when you're doing your readings, you don't sugarcoat it. I mean, you're very sympathetic, to their situation, but to sit there and prey on their fears, you see them coming in with a cross, you see them coming in with a pentacle, you see them using that as ammunition to build residual income. What are your opinion of people that do that? Because that's what goes on. It goes on all over the world.
Ugh. That is just sick.
Oh, I agree.
It's
But
sick. It's oh, there's so many layers to this. Oh, it's not okay. They're that's so low. You
But
want to talk about demons?
yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
'Cause,
like that's demonic.
Agreed.
To prey on someone like that,
Mhm.
and basically, like, me and I, like, we haven't talked about this and this. We could do a whole nother thing about manifesting. To know, like, one of my major things when someone comes to me and there's like, oh, there's this going on in my house and oh, I'm like, shush, right? Like, quiet. You are manifesting that crap. Sorry, you told me not to swear, and it's really screwing me up.
Well, this is a very angering
It
subject.
is like I'm just ugh. So to actually take someone who just came and was like, oh, I just want to have a reading and plant a demon in their brain, basically, is what you're doing, and saying like, oh my God, you've got, this and that. Well, then you've planted that seed, and then they're going to start manifesting things. Did you see what?
Yeah. I sell those, by the way, in a shop. Yeah.
I didn't say it.
Quick plug.
But seriously, that is so low. Because whenever I'm dealing with that, like as we know, there are entities out there.
Mhm.
There are even energies out there that are attracted to that negative energy, right? And that's what feeds them.
Mhm.
So they're instilling this fear when I have someone that comes to me that's in that state of fear, and I'm like, stop it.
Yep.
You know, like you're the problem because you're getting it in your head that I'm, like, oh, I have like this, So to actually physically or mentally inflict that on someone, like shame on whoever the hell is doing that. And I'm sorry I said hell, but
Oh no.
that's if someone would do that, that's just insane. I
Um,
can't. It is the equivalent of shooting a gun in the. Like it's just not okay. That
Al-
really makes me mad.
Allison's lurking in the background, and she posted.
Exorcisms, huh?
Because this ranks up there with that same comment that we were just talking about. Because if you instill fear enough, now you can easily convince them that they need an exorcism.
Yeah.
Although I know a couple of people that go out and do exorcisms and whatnot. Tammy, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
She says she had to run.
Probably.
Uh,
Oh,
but people that go out and do exorcisms, I'm not gonna. Everybody knows my personal opinion. That's fine. That's my personal opinion. But because I'm not really personally, I'm not for that. Now, but I'm gonna write on the back of what we were just talking about.
okay.
So if you do a reading for someone, you instill that demon
Mm-hmm.
into
You're
them.
planting it.
So you keep doing this. Every follow up. Oh, he's strong. I keep for another $200, I can come back and exercise it completely. This goes on all over the world. I've got accounts in the States. I've got accounts here in Canada. I've got accounts in the UK. I've got accounts all over the world of this going on in multiple locations. The- If you're feeding the demon, the demon, when I say this, the demon is what's implanted from your suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
What what's your I know this is going to probably start a rant. We're going to be on here for another 2 hours. What's your overall opinion of exorcisms? Let's just leave it at the basic question.
Okay, one, you blew my mind because, as I said, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV, and I was not aware that this crap is going on, that people are doing this. So I'm a little ragey right now. It's just insane to me. So what was the question again?
So we'll go with the basic question that Allison asked in the background.
About exorcisms.
Yes. Oh, well, and she's using the example because the exorcism that was brought up in Regina was to be done on an autistic child.
Oh
Yeah. It was on the same family for that $5,000 they've been taken for before we were called in.
my word.
And it turned out the entire time it just needed some communication. They realized that the autistic child was gifted, and so was the stepmother. And they were the
feeding
friction,
off each other.
right? And that's what creating all the paranormal activity.
Yeah,
but these,
because we manifest things.
right?
Yeah.
But this person came in and money, 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 and then finally convinced them the autistic child needed an exorcism. I mean, these people need, personally, in my opinion, need to be drug out in the back alleyway. The
Yeah,
hell with
no,
the,
that's and
but
especially when you're like my nephew, he's autistic, and that's preying on like you already had me upset,
mhm.
right? To prey on someone that is in that state
Mhm.
is even I can't even. Sorry. But exorcisms okay. So, like I said before, are there beings out there?
Mm.
Yes. Are there interdimensional beings? Yes. Um I hope you agree with me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going off what I've
It doesn't matter if I
encountered,
agree
right?
or not. We're here for your opinion.
So sometimes like I've legit seen beings that will attach themselves to someone because of their negative energy, and they're manifesting that, and they just basically slurp up that negative
Mhm.
energy, and they feed off of that. Um and sometimes they need someone to just basically come in and say, "Hey,"
Mhm.
right? So I mean, if you consider that an exorcism, maybe, but it's more, to me, it's more empowering people to realize, like I said from the beginning, that we are all gifted. We all have the ability to manifest. We can all cause our own personal chaos. We can attract negative energies, and create our own personal hell.
Mhm.
And it's more an education than an exorcism,
Right.
I would say.
I
Um,
just because here's my opinion. Good, bad, ugly, I don't care. My opinion on exorcism is because the ability to prey on the whole heaven, hell, soul, fear with someone that's already vulnerable. Um, and because, TV shows scare the crap out of people and movies and whatnot, it's, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong on this. This is just an opinion, an observation that people use that as a way to take advantage of a vulnerable person. You mean, if you know that they're religious, then you can use the word demon all day.
mhm.
If they're, I would just love for them to actually send me a list of demons that they exorcised, um, because I'm well versed in a lot of the demons. I'd like to see these. Just saying. Uh, I'm just really curious, and but these people that I don't know. I am, as far as like you said, helping someone, educating them for the take charge and take control. I'm all for. Uh, Maybe they're too vulnerable, and
Mhm.
maybe you need to help them elevate themselves with the energy. Give them some pointers, some different tips. Maybe I would even do, you know, help them out with that. But as far as to go in and say you've got a demon attached to you, because really at the root of it, that's where the exorcism is being played out in most of these groups. I don't feel like that's the route to go. You don't have
No.
the right, and the church don't even sanction these things anymore. So
No. And the thing is that you, in effect, stating there is a demon attached to you or whatever, you're feeding into it,
mhm,
right?
you are
And
actually the demon.
yeah, pretty much. So, like, have I sensed things attached to people? Yes. And uh, a thing comes to mind where someone, and it was their partner that had brought them in and was like, there's something wrong with them, like they're just this and that, and I did sense, but whether it was something that was being manifested by them as a couple, but there was something there.
Mhm,
um so I'm being asked a point blank question, and I did sense something,
mhm,
but did I say it?
mm,
No, because that's just feeding into it.
right.
So I would say probably, and this is just my personal opinion, and I don't think I'm like a say all like expert or anything like that.
Mhm. Nobody's an
I
expert.
know what I
Mhm,
know until I know differently.
mhm,
But in my experience so far, um probably I would say out of like 100 of people who are like, oh, like I think so and so has like a something attached to them or whatever, like there's probably only like a very small percentage that is actually some kind of, like, from your
mhm.
paranormal investigating, there's a lot of manifesting that happens.
Correct.
There is a very small percentage of true
Mhm.
things. Same with possessions. Like, can someone get something attached to them?
Right.
Yes. I'm not going to. I'm not saying that to like um scare people because
Right.
there is that possibility,
Hmm.
right? But to go and instill that fear
Hmm.
and plant that there, and then even if I was to look in someone's energy because they've asked me to, and I see something maybe a little dark in nature,
Hmm.
a little cloudy, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, Matt, like
That's what.
that thing on you,
Hmm.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's what people say about my beard. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, now a thing just appeared beside you. No, just kidding.
So I've got
I planted the seed.
yeah.
No.
I do have a. I'm going to follow up with that question. What if somebody was to go up to you? I'm just going to use you as an example.
Hmm.
I think I need an exorcism. I think I have a demon inside of me. Now I'm bringing this up because we just recently, well, not me because I'm not affiliated to any paranormal team, but this has come up with a paranormal team. They've gotten multiple messages. They're asking for an exorcism because they believe a family member has a demon inside of them. Um, they're already convinced. They've had no outside influence, nothing else. Um, the first recommendation was, go talk to, if you're religious, go talk to your religious leader. Um, but what what would you? Because psychics are being drawn into this more and more and more. Um, and so are practitioners. I can't say psychics as practitioners as well,
Hmm.
because a couple of accounts that I know of were magic practitioners. So, question is, if somebody comes to you and says, "I think I have a demon inside of me. I need an exorcism." What would be your immediate response?
That was actually perfect. No. My response would be like, why do you think that?
Mhm.
I'm sorry. But getting the underlying reason as to where is this notion coming from? Like
Mhm.
why are you thinking this way?
Right.
Because I like to call it the root of evil, right?
Mhm.
Is thought.
Right.
You think, therefore you are. So finding out where their thought patterns coming from would be my first thing.
Okay.
Is why are you thinking this? Like, has someone told you this?
Mhm.
Is this your own, like, did you look in the mirror and your head spun? Like what makes you think?
Mhm.
And then go from there. And then eh, you know, basically ask them if it's okay to go into their energy and kind of just feel around what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, hopefully someone doesn't jump into me and then my head starts spinning.
I don't know. I want my head to spin.
That would be really cool,
I know.
actually.
I want some pea soup action going on.
Hmm.
But, I mean, at the end of money, I could make at Halloween parties.
Yeah.
the
But yeah, I think if someone was to come up and say that would I would just ask a question. It's like, why? Why do you think that?
reason I was asking that is because they're already extremely vulnerable at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've given up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a person that's given up must think it's out of their control, and it scares me because you're seeing it more and more and more. I mean, whether it has to do with COVID, people are getting more and more depressed from isolation, and, no social interaction,
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. Um, Personally, I would say this would have to be repetitive conversation. Um, what is going on? What is it, obviously you're very religious because this has been instilled in you, and it's fear, so maybe you should go talk to your religious leader. Can I come in? I'm curious to see how this plays out. If this because very few people that are practitioners or whatnot would be going to someone and saying, I think I'm possessed.
Right.
uh Legitimate ones anyway.
That's like,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty rare.
Yeah. So I would, it's a good question. Glad Allison put it up there because um, this has actually been going on quite a bit in the past, and it's actually ramping up. I know of several groups that are ramping up their exorcisms.
Mm, as like a cash grab.
Right.
Ah,
And I don't know. I I'm not saying that exorcisms are needed. Maybe a cleansing, or a polarity change, or or maybe just education of what's going on. Maybe they have changed and they're not willing to accept change.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I just don't think that going in. I'm scared that people are going into doing this for the cash grab is causing more psychological problems.
Yes. And anyone who's in the mindset where they think that they might be possessed, like they're already in a pretty dark place.
Hmm.
So that's that's where coming doing it for the right reason comes in,
Yeah.
right? And it's trying to figure out what's the root cause of this and why are you feeling this way, um versus like, oh my god, yeah, and
Hmm.
I can help you,
Yeah.
right? It's like I can help you by getting to the root of like, why are you in this mental status that you think that you are possessed? I mean, I'm not a psychologist,
Mm-mm.
but like sometimes in doing what I do, you end up being a therapist because you're connecting with um their energy and their guides or whatever you want to call
Hmm.
them, and you can maybe like say things that will help them, but um it's definitely preying on someone if you're feeding into that. But like I said, there are things out there,
Right.
right? So I'm not saying that all like
They're usually at Walmart at 2 o'clock in the morning. But
right.
so
But
we're going to wrap up because this is
okay,
actually the
very
longest that I've ever. But I've enjoyed this immensely, and I'm thanking you for clearing the air on some things. Once again, this is her personal opinion. This is my personal opinion.
exactly. And
You can
I'm
agree or
not the say
disagree.
all end all. And like
Well,
I always say to you, I know what I know until I know differently.
and I always say none of us are experts.
And no one can tell you, like I said, it's just
Hmm.
the way you feel. Like either it resonates with you and you're like, oh yeah, like I agree with that, or you don't. You can tell me to F off. I don't care. Like that's my opinion.
So I want to thank. Well, real quick, did you want to point everybody to your Facebook page or
Oh,
anything?
so what is my Laney Lee and 10.
Mm.
I have a little private group on there as well, where sometimes I will do lives that I won't do publicly because then you get the weirdos on there like saying really
Oh,
weird things.
like the
Yeah,
one that
yeah,
popped up a minute
exactly.
ago.
So I do most of my lives in my I call it like psychic portal.
Hmm.
But I'm also at the broom closet. They're beautiful down there.
Hmm.
And so I have a room there that is private. And so I work out of there.
Sweet. So you
Mhm.
know where the broom closet is. Get down there. So thank you. I'm gonna. This has been great. This has been amazing.
Aw,
And I love this little device.
thank you. Yes,
Um,
I need one.
just need to walk around the house hitting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. Much love to you all, and
Thank
be
you.
safe. And of course, as always, until next time.
Yes.